Welcome everybody to the ITOT Convergence session. This is Craig Resnick from ARC, and really glad to have you, especially as all that's separating you from the SeaWorld event tonight is this. We look for, but we'll get through this. We have you have a 4-speaker, 5-panelist session, so hopefully the stage will be able to take care of all of us. We haven't experimented yet, but I guess we'll find out live. But obviously, ITOT Convergence is not certainly a brand new topic, but at the same time, it's interesting because when we solicit for speakers and application cases for the forum, this is always the most popular topic that people want to present about because they really want to share their ITOT Convergence journey, and because it's really impacting virtually every manufacturing company is going through this process and is at different points in the journey. But so what are the things that drive it? It's certainly the idea of demand for tighter integration, adding things such as analytics and cloud, edge, the whole area of putting both systems together. And this is really going to talk about, we'll have 4 case studies as far as companies, and they can share some of their ITOT Convergence journeys with you. And it's funny because it was certainly accelerating before the pandemic, but once the pandemic hit, this thing really took off because now all of a sudden people had to figure, how do I work with a factory that's under lockdown? How do I work in a situation where I now have remote employees? How do I connect these employees to processes so we can at least begin to resume some operations within the plant? And then the other thing, of course, that happened is the whole issue of the supply chain. Is that now, the reliability of getting your deliveries of raw materials completely changed and was upended. So how do you find alternative suppliers, alternative geographies? How do you find the way of redesigning your product to accommodate the different raw materials? So this is what really drove the whole, let's say that the journey to, kind of in a far greater accelerating rate of ITOT Convergence was the pandemic. Some of the things that people have to learn when you're in ITOT Convergence is, from an IT perspective, they had to really learn some of the nuances of OT, such as, real time and the things you really can't stop the factory for patches or updates or things like that. I think OT learned the fact that, the product life cycles in IT are much shorter than they are in OT, and it really also was very helpful in bringing a lot of cybersecurity technology to the OT side of the business. But the challenge, of course, remains is how do you deal in a plant that like you all do, where you have state-of-the-art equipment that's whether you're doing augmented reality, virtual reality, AI, ML, but then you still have a PLC from the 80s that still has to somehow or other maintain itself as part of the process. So we take the, kind of the needs of what OT has some of the needs that IT certainly has, and then we find that there's probably more in common with their needs than is separate. So for some companies, some companies that are really advanced in their journey, it's almost like it's ITOT fusion, and that these departments are all becoming one, especially when the management is set up as such that you're reporting to, say, one person that has the responsibility for both IT and OT. But certainly not every company is at the stage of ITOT fusion, but we're beginning to see some companies that have hit that and companies that are probably getting very, very, very close to that. So, but what it means is it's everything from whether for sustainability, operational resilience, helping with ESG, more reliable, certainly to help out with the supply chain and improving, eliminating or minimizing waste, less reruns. I mean, the results speak for themselves, and I think you'll get to see a lot of those results when we get a chance to see our speakers today.